Okay, disclaimer, disclaimer. Bullying's bad. Bullying's bad. Sometimes it made you better.
Like the idea that this is some sort of obligation that you are allowed to say and do whatever you want and there are no consequences for
ever.
It. Who raised you?
You can say whatever you want.
You
just can't dictate how people respond to what you say.
The presentation of religion to me and not the practice of it is a diabolical way to move around the world.
We should be leery of a religion where you can't question anything, because that sounds too close to a cult.
Hey guys, welcome to Too Personal. I'm Joy Taylor. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't already, make sure that you hit subscribe. I have a very fun show for you today. My dear friend Kev On Stage, comedian, actor, stand-up comedian, producer, and he also has a book coming out. We have an amazing conversation, so make sure that you stick around for that. And of course, we'll get to Never Too Personal, where we talk to you, the viewer, here on Too Personal. You can email at toopersonalpodcast@gmail.com, or as always, you can send us a DM, and you should follow as well at Too Personal Show on all of our socials. So it was a busy week for the regime this week. Signed a big, beautiful bill, and I'm sure you've seen some notes about it from every side about how it will affect Americans and the future of this country, particularly for people who don't have much. Of course, it will have a lot of tax cuts, trillions, in fact, for high earners and corporations, and is cutting $1 trillion from Medicaid over the next decade and billions of dollars from the SNAP food stamp program. So more cuts for the wealthy, more cuts of money and funding for the disadvantaged, which is such an interesting strategy considering that many of the disadvantaged people in this country actually voted for him. And there's a lot of details and numbers that I could throw at you, and plenty of experts have done great work in explaining why this is a very problematic bill and why the Democrats were fighting very much to not let it pass. Of course it did, and now we are stuck in this situation. And I thought a lot about how I felt about the bill and how I felt about how all this has gone down, and felt about the reaction to it and the people that are going to be most affected by it. I thought about the people in my life who have used these programs. My mother, of course, when she was trying to raise 2 children, my grandmother and my aunts who were elderly and not capable of working. You know, those people, the people that really needed help, not lazy people, not people taking advantage of the system, you know, just people that need a little bit of help to make it through, you know, single mothers because they want everybody to have children, elderly because, you know, they want people to live longer. All of the people that do their best to try and make it happen in this country and just, you know, just need a little bit of help. Rural communities, places that are going to lose hospitals because of this bill cut. You know, it's all really devastating and overwhelming. And, you know, pairing that with all of the ICE kidnappings and the fact that you can get sent to the South Sudan in a crate. I think this might be one of my more unpopular opinions, and I have a bunch of those. But I think we've just reached the point in American society where people have to feel the repercussions of their choices, because we have become so anti-intellectual, we're anti-education, we're anti-experts, we're anti-facts, we're anti-conversation, we're anti-compromise, we're anti-learning something new and then adjusting your opinion as such. These people are addicted to the messaging, to the idea of control. Many of these people are in a cult. Many of these people are not educated enough to even understand what's happening to them. And then, of course, there is this big looming cloud of the desire for proximity to whiteness. I don't know how to explain that to someone. I don't know how to reach anyone anymore. So I've come to the conclusion that unfortunately, we are going to have to live through this reality no matter how many times that we put the facts out there, no matter how many times we beg people to act in their own best interest, no matter how many different ways you slice it and try to explain how this is going to affect you negatively, people are still going to do what they think puts them in the power seat. And even if it is literally giving away your rights, even if it's literally giving away the way that you pay your medical bills, the way that you feed your children, it doesn't matter. However your conspiracy theory pie slices, this man is the president of the United States of America. And these choices are being made. And they are going to have repercussions for decades to come. And every empire and every country and every government that's ever existed that's failed was at this point, and they thought, can't be us. It could never be us. No, it's us. We are signing up for our own destruction. And look, I know there are so many people who are like, I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for this. Baby, I didn't vote for this either. But what I did know is that if this was going to happen, which there was a very high chance of it if you paid attention to anything that anyone was saying, that it was going to affect me negatively. So when I talk to people, I tried to explain to them how these type of decisions that he said he was going to make were going to affect you negatively. Look, 50% basically of the Hispanic community voted for this. What do you want me to do with that? Rural communities voted for this. What do you want me to do with that? I hurt for the people who knew better, who tried, and are still going to have to deal with the sadness and the terror of these decisions. But I've just come to the conclusion that we're at a place in society where most of our country is either not intelligent enough, not educated enough, too overwhelmed with hate in their spirit, or quite frankly, just in a cult that they can't be reached. And the only way that you can reach those people is through actual reality. Things have to hit their doorstep. And when it does, they have to have it explained to them that the reason why this is happening is the choices that you made. That is the only way to get through to the people who still don't understand what's happening. I've been crying from the rooftops about what's going on. Many, many, many facts have been laid out. Many pleas for everyone to wake up have been posted. If you still agree with what's happening right now, you either are highly benefiting from it or you don't understand what's happening, in which case, like, I don't know. I have 1% empathy left in my body and I'm holding on to it for dear life because I truly believe that the core of being evil is not having empathy, and I don't want to go full bad. But man, like, people have to experience reality. They have to suffer almost. It doesn't sound good, but I don't know what other thing there is to do. They're not listening. They want this. They ask for this. And until it actually affects them, they're just going to continue to say it's the right thing to do. Now, the interesting thing is if we ever have an election again and it does switch over to a different party, that party is likely going to be the party that has to deal with the fallout from all of this. And of course, then they'll blame that party because, they're not paying attention to why it's happening in the first place. And then the cycle will continue if we even have a country or a planet for that to happen. But yeah, that's the realization that I've come to, that I just think people have to deal with the reality of their decisions. I mean, you're seeing it all over the country. You're seeing it in Miami. Lots of people endorse Trump and their family members are being deported. Why wouldn't you think that's going to happen? Proximity to whiteness does not protect you. White supremacy does not care how much you support them or how close you are to them. You either are or you're not. And a lot of people are in the find out part after the fuck around that's not how white supremacy works. I don't know what to say. I'm out of solutions, and I think people just have to feel it. They have to feel it. It's the only way they'll learn. It's time to talk to my friend Kev On Stage. All right, so excited to have my friend Kev On Stage with me today. Kev is an actor, a stand-up comedian, entrepreneur. You may have seen many of his many viral moments on social media, and of course, his BET Plus original series, Churchy, or many other places that he has popped up. in our cultural atmosphere. It's been amazing to follow you and see the growth of you and Melissa's brands.
Thank you.
And welcome to Too Personal. I'm so glad to have you here.
I'm very happy to be here. It's a beautiful studio. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's been great. I have so much to ask you.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with your book.
Okay.
You have a new book, Successful Failure.
Yeah.
It's available for pre-order now. It comes out on September 23rd.
Yep.
Why did you want to write a book?
Yeah, for me, it was important to tell my story through the lens of the losses instead of the wins. I think social media, we always share our wins, our successes, which is fine, but I think people want to know where you lost, where you messed up. You work in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the joy of seeing somebody finally win is if you watch them lose the finals or the Super Bowl or the playoffs or whatever. And I think in a lot of other entertainment world, we don't see any of those losses. So I think for me, it was like, it's a whole bunch of losses that turn into wins. So I wanted to share my story from the point of view of all those losses.
That's interesting because you are such a positive person.
Yeah. But I think losses are positive. I think, you have to take those L's. I grew up playing basketball. I was never great, but you learn as much from making a shot as you do missing one. If you hit at the front of the rim, you're like, okay, I need more lift, more legs, whatever, and then it'll go in. I think life is very similar to that. You got to mess up. You got to make mistakes. Somebody's got to beat you on a deal for you to become a better businessman. You make a lot of those mistakes in life, in parenthood, in relationships, and then you learn, I shouldn't do that, or here's how the better way to do that is. And I just want people to know they're not alone, because people be out here taking L's every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And, you go on social media, it seems like everybody else is winning. So it makes you be like, oh man, I'm the only one who ain't got it together. No, even me, who's had a lot of success, but I've had much more failure. And as on my road to more success, I think I'll have more failure, which I think is all part of the game.
That's a great perspective to have on failure. And I fundamentally agree.
Yeah.
I think no one's ever accused me of being not positive, but I'm more of a pessimist.
Okay.
I think I'm a realist, but it's
realists are pessimists because life is sad.
Life is sad.
Yeah.
But life is also life is happy also.
Yeah.
And life is good also.
Mm-hmm.
And we as a species feel like when things are going bad, it will never end.
Yes.
And when things are going good, it's only a matter of time before it ends.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I even still feel like that.
Yeah.
Even as I'm having success, I'm like, I'm going to get canceled. I'm going to make a mistake. Something's going to happen. I'm going to get sick. I'm going to die.
How are you going to get canceled?
Listen, I feel like the world is sometimes shifting underneath our feet. Something you thought was cool before is not cool anymore. It's a healthy fear. It keeps me honest, keeps me on my toes.
I think it's healthy I think it's not being canceled. Cancel culture is not a real thing.
True.
It doesn't exist.
That's very true.
Trust me on that. Okay. Cancel culture is not a real thing.
Yeah.
But I do think accountability is important.
Yeah.
And so the fear of getting yelled at on the internet, if you have any sort of soul left,
yes,
that can keep you honest.
Yeah, but what's funny? I've gotten yelled at on the internet multiple times from multiple communities. What has always seemed to happen is I've always seemed to have a show that weekend or whatever, and I've gotten love in real life, and they have seemed to not know anything about what's happening online. So it's always been an interesting juxtaposition of getting dragged on Twitter and putting your phone in your pocket and looking up and somebody's like, what up, Kev? Good to see you, man. I love this thing, man. My mama loves you. Can you FaceTime her? And they'd be like, which world is real? Because they both feel very real. But the person who's in front of you, who's grateful to meet you, seems more real than the faceless person who's tweeting at you that you're not funny or they hate you, whatever the thing is.
They are more real.
Yeah, for sure.
Both places are real.
Yes.
But reality or off the phone is more real.
1000%.
And it can feel like there's more of the phone than there is reality sometimes.
Yes.
But that is good, and you should receive the reality as more impactful than social media. People ask me all the time, how do I deal with negativity on social media? Because I'm in sports and everyone hates me every other day. And that's
You say
fine.
that so casually.
I mean, because they do. Like, there is an inevitability
Yeah.
that if you are giving your opinion about sports, someone will be mad at you. Because
True.
that is a 100% guarantee. If
Very
I
true.
say I like this team, the team's fans who don't like that team are going to be mad.
Yeah.
That is how sports works.
Yes.
There's very rare moments in life in that space where pretty much everyone agrees with you.
Absolutely.
So that is that's an exchange that you make when you get into that space. But what I have always said is, if I wouldn't ask for someone's advice, then I don't care about their criticism.
True.
One, but two, these people are not real. Like, are some of them real people? Some of them are bots, first of all, so they're literally not real.
Yeah.
But some of them, like, they're tapping on the internet. They would never say it to my face.
Yes.
You know how I know they would never say it to my face? It has never happened. I am 38 years old. No one has ever walked up to me and said any of the bullshit, sorry, Kev, that they say to me online.
Yeah, no, it's very true.
Has it ever happened to you?
It's never happened to me. It's a fantastic point. Not only has it not happened to me, my son he's a Golden State Warriors hater because he loves the Lakers. And he's fell into the, like, hating his team that he hates is more important than loving the team he loves.
That's a fun life.
You have to hate somebody.
You have to.
Because you just have to. You gotta hate someone.
It is more fun.
Way more fun. Hate watching your favorite team lose
Oh.
better than your favorite team winning the championship.
One of my core memories is watching the Patriots lose to the Giants in that
Yes.
season. What season was it? I can't remember the year.
When
When they were
helmet catch?
undefeated.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
The
I have
best.
never rooted. I don't care about the Giants.
Who
I was like,
cares?
beat the Patriots. You cannot take the Dolphins' undefeated season away from me.
Yes.
It's all we have.
It's 72.
It's 72 because it's all we have.
Morris, that's all we have.
Mercury Morris, that's it.
Mercury Morris. So my son is hating the Warriors. And we're at a movie premiere for Spider-Man, and Draymond Green is there, who is he is the mascot of hate, right? For my son. He sees Draymond. He's like, ask him if I can get a picture. I said, you are fake. You said you hate. He said,
Where's
yeah.
the integrity?
I said, you gotta hate him for real. He's like, it's Draymond. I want a picture with him. And I said, and that's really how the internet is.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that dude who was tweeted at Carmelo. He was like, he called him a glazed donut face and blocked him. And the dude was like, I loved you. Nah, man, keep that same energy. So I think you're absolutely right. I agree wholeheartedly. And you're right. Nobody's ever walked up to me and had any beef. And don't start now. This is not an invitation.
Don't
prove
start.
me wrong, because I can say up until the point where I goaded you into it.
Don't
You
get
didn't do
any
it.
bright ideas.
Yeah.
As mean as I sound on this podcast, I'm so much worse in person. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. But it's never happened. And it's because, like, it is unnatural
It is.
for those type of things to come out of people's
Yeah.
mouths
Yeah.
without a real reason to have animosity towards someone.
For sure.
Anytime that I've ever said anything even remotely as mean as, like, one thing that's been said on the internet about me today,
Mhm.
someone did something awful enough to me
Yeah.
that brought it out. Like, I don't wake up like, who am I going to say horrible things about today publicly? Natalie Portman. Like, this is not even a lifestyle that I can understand.
So true.
So comedy is obviously what you do.
Yeah.
And I have so many thoughts on comedy. I think comedy is so important to a functioning society.
For sure.
It's allows us to laugh at terrible things.
Yep.
But I will say we're in this interesting space with comedians where, you know, everyone, like the cancel thing, you know,
Yeah.
everyone wants to, everyone has really strong opinions about what comedy should be and shouldn't be.
Yes.
I believe art should not be censored
Mm-hmm.
within reason. I
Yeah.
think we all understand what the unspoken reason
For
is.
sure, for
I
sure.
don't think we actually need to say what that is. However, I do think that if you are a comedian, if you say something in a comedic space, whether it is a stand-up
Mm-hmm.
or it's a show, it's something where people are coming to you for laughs.
Yes.
You have the reign to say the horrible things that we give to comedians.
Yes.
But when you step in front of a microphone in any other capacity.
Yes.
You're giving your thoughts on politics. You're giving your thoughts on relationships. You're giving your thoughts on pop culture. You're doing something where you're actually giving your opinion, not as a comedian, but as just a social pundit.
Yes.
You don't get the free reign to say whatever you want.
1000%.
And I just don't like that card. Well, I'm a comedian.
Yes.
Like, no, right now, you're not a comedian. If I come and sign up for your show and sit there and you say something that offends me, well, I don't have to come to your show.
Yes.
But you're here talking about things that matter. And whenever people get mad about it, you want to just say you're a chucklehead. Like, no.
I agree wholeheartedly. And also, I'll take it a step further. Different types of comedy have more free reign to be different types of comedians.
Right.
If you came into my show and I'm having a comedy show in a church, that's a different version of my show than if you came to Flappers
100%.
or the Wilshire Ebell Theater, right? I have more range to do stuff in a church that I can get away with, even within a church. If it's Sunday morning, I have this much free reign. If it's Sunday night, if it's youth night, if it's a marriage enrichment night, it's just married couples, if it's kids. So I need to know all of those things. Then if it's a roast, like even within stand-up, a roast of Tom Brady, for example, they can go super hard.
Yeah.
Right? At Netflix, the roast of Tom Brady at the NFL Honors, oh, you can't go that hard. The ESPYs, well, you can't even go as hard as that. If I'm your friend, there's something I can say, right? And to your point, if I'm on a podcast, I know I'm a funny person, but I'm no longer a comedian. I think that happened during the last election. It's like, well, I'm a comedian. Yeah, but in this space, everything you say reflects the president. So It's not the same thing. And to be honest, my personal opinion, I think a lot of comedians are lazy. And that cancel culture, you can't say anything funny. It's always our job to find the line and get as close to it as possible without going over for whatever your culture is. I think the laziness is what I got away with in 2013, I want to get away with today. Well, the world has changed. And the thing, to your point about my show, if you come to see me live, that is just that show.
Right.
If I make that same statement on the internet, it's now time-stamped, recorded, and dated, and like there's video evidence of that. Now that thing you said in 2013, in 2014 or 2016 or 2018, that ain't cool no more. So now you got people apologizing about stuff in the past when they really didn't know better and the world was different.
Right.
So I think that's part of the part where comedians, in our day and age, we don't have the luxury of just being comedians on stage anymore. You got to do podcasts and show. There's no Comic View or Tonight Show to get you booked. So you got to be, you got to find a way to be in front of people all over the place. So it takes more skill, and you got to know what to say and when to say and how to navigate that. And I think most people are not good at their jobs, nor do they want to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do the easiest thing as possible. For comedians, often that's just saying the same thing over and over and over or a different way. But for me, it's like, man, you can't really say that no more. So what can you say? And then sometimes things go back. Sometimes the pendulum swings like we were too PC. Now we're swinging all the way back and now this is okay again. You just can't be lazy. To me, you've always got to be working to find that new thing. And that's what makes you good or not good.
I fundamentally agree. I have no notes whatsoever. Because I really think I think comedy and like some of our favorite stand-ups of all time, like Eddie Murphy Raw.
Yes.
Like does it hold up? Like maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I don't care. Like this is what was happening then.
In 1988, it held
I'm
up.
not going to hold a 1988 stand-up to a 2025 sensibility.
Yeah.
But the other part of it that pisses me off is get over yourself. Like people are allowed to not like what you said. Like this idea that everybody is supposed, like, oh my God, everyone's so offended. And so what?
Right.
And so what they're offended? And so what? Yeah. Like, what do you mean? So you're free to say whatever it is that you want.
Yeah.
Right? That's the society we live in. You're free to say whatever you want. Likewise, people are free to consume you however they want.
Yeah.
If they don't like what you said, they can stop going to your shows.
I think most people want to say what they want and have people not respond negatively. And it don't work like that.
It doesn't work like that.
Like you gotta nut up, so to speak. You want to stand on what you said. You got to deal with the consequences.
Stand on it and be be a man. My God, like it's just not to make it just get into gender wars so early, but like My God, like you're saying these first of all, you're saying things that you know are outrageous,
For
right?
sure.
And outrageous things sometimes need to be said, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Say them. But if people get mad about it, deal with it. Like cry about it. My God, like what you said this crazy thing, then people are mad about it. And you're like, everybody's so sensitive. Like, no, they just didn't like what you had to say. They're allowed to not like it. They're allowed to not go to your show anymore.
Yes.
No one is obligated to continue participating in anything that they don't want to participate in.
Yes.
Whether that is a company, whether that is a show, and that's not canceling. It's free will.
I agree. I think you're so right. I think you can say whatever you want.
Say it.
Just can't dictate how people respond to what you say.
100%.
Like you want to say whatever you want and you want people to cheer for you the whole time. That ain't how it works, right? And that's not even like, you can take stand-up out of it. Like you have your favorite filmmaker or musician.
Mm-hmm.
You love that album. You love their first 3 albums. That doesn't mean their next album you're going to love. But that don't mean they shouldn't make it. Like, I'm all for my favorite artist making a piece of trash. You gotta try and do what you want to do. I always got your albums that I love.
But take it a step further. You are a fan of this artist, and then they get on a podcast and say something that fundamentally offends you to your core and makes you feel a certain type of way because they insulted something that you care deeply about, and then you no longer like them.
1000%.
The end.
The end.
Like what? This is the whole story. And it's like people are on here like, oh my God, how are people not? Because they are allowed to. You made the choice, and then they made the choice, and then the choices have been made. Like the idea that this is some sort of obligation that you are allowed to say and do whatever you want, and there are no consequences for
ever.
it. Who raised you? I fundamentally move around the world, and that doesn't mean I still don't make bad decisions because I make bad decisions all the time. Every day I make bad decisions. That doesn't mean that my mother is not looming over top of me, reminding me with every choice that I make, could you get your ass whooped if you make this decision? Because that's how I was raised. Choices have consequences.
Yeah.
You chose to lie about breaking your brother's bed in 3rd grade. Guess what happened?
Yeah.
Consequences. Like, that's what it is. Who raised these people to think that you can do whatever you want and there's no consequences?
Internet did. Like, I don't know if it raised people, but I think when we were growing up, we're similar in age. You wouldn't say certain stuff if you couldn't back it up because what you said you might have to deal with what you said.
Correct.
But on the internet, I don't have to deal with those consequences. I can tweet at you. I can comment. At most, I get blocked, but there's nothing. Rarely do I have to deal with those actions in my actual life. And I think the longer that has happened, the less people have realized, oh, those actions actually have real life consequences. I think people have forgotten that the world exists. That's why they always say people need to get punched in the mouth more often.
Like, this is my motto in life. I've said this on, I think, at least the last 5 podcasts that we've done.
It resets you to like what I should say.
We need to reintroduce hand-to-hand combat to society. Like, let's do away with the guns, square ups only.
Because if
ones.
somebody punched you to where your jaw clicks, you're going to be like, man, I probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah, that has happened to me before.
Yeah.
Like, it has happened to me. I didn't go down. But, yeah, like, there was, and it wasn't even my fault. Yeah. But somebody else's consequences wound up for my, I'm in it. By proximity. So yeah, like I really think hand-to-hand combat would solve a lot of problems. I think as a society, we got way too advanced with our weapons.
For sure.
And violence has lost its path, but it was important. Violence was always important.
Violence has lost its path.
It has lost its path. There was a necessity for violence.
Right.
It's always
the fear and threat of
within
violence
nature,
yes.
right? Like nature is a violent place.
For sure.
And there's order because of violence.
Deers have babies. That baby can die in 3 seconds. Mm-hmm. It's real.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody like, oh, that's your baby. I'm hungry. You either protect the deer or you don't.
And now it's fucking lamb. It's venison.
It's
what is
venison.
it?
Veal.
Yeah, veal.
It's lunch. Too bad.
Snacks.
That baby was my chips.
Yep. What is it? Jerky. Yes.
Jerky.
Turkey jerky. Yeah, 100%. And because nature has violence to it, there is order. We have messed up the order of violence by introducing weapons, that advanced weapons into society, and making them ready available to people without reason. And now you can't fight because, it ends up in death.
Yes.
And you should be able to get smacked in the mouth.
Yes. I agree.
We're never going to go back to that.
We're never going to go
So
back
how do
to
we
that.
solve it, Kev?
I was thinking about that. I got in so many fights as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I lost a lot, but I won a few. My kids, neither of them, and nor my wife, have ever been in a fight.
Yeah, the kids don't fight anymore.
They don't fight. Not physically. Like, you ain't never socked nobody?
I have been in so many fights.
I was fighting all the time. Fought your friends. You fought at the basketball court. You got beat up, bullied.
Yeah, I don't even want to share this. Never mind. I've been in lots of fights. Let's just say that. Yeah, and we got bullied.
Yes. I mean, okay. Disclaimer. Bullying's bad. Sometimes it made you better.
It gave you character. I
Sometimes.
gave you character, and I'll tell you this about our generation's bullying. I'll tell you this. All right, you gave you some lines. Why do you think I'm so snappy on these internets, on these shows? You better have a comeback, and you better have a comeback quick.
1,000%.
All right, start cooking you. You better have something to say, or you are going to get cooked for weeks. You cannot sit there and take that abuse. You better fire back, and it better be quick, and it better be smart, and it better be funny.
Nobody's coming to help you.
No one's coming for you.
Absolutely. Made us better people.
I don't know.
We sound like boomers now.
We
In
are.
my age, you got beat up and
are.
you got roasted, and these kids are now soft because they didn't get beat up and bullied.
They are soft, though. I've feared this. I feared this time in my life when I would become this like elder millennial that thinks that things are better. But here's why we're better than everyone. We're better than everyone because we are the last generation of humans that knew the world before the internet.
1,000%.
We were formed people without the internet.
And in addition to that, our first iteration of the internet was not as fast as it is now.
That was trash.
It was like
it was almost inconvenient.
It was like, man, I can start this. It's gonna take 45 minutes to be ready. I can do other stuff.
And all someone had to do was pick up the phone, and all of your work was
over,
done.
and you got to start over. So we're not even counting those years.
Yeah,
those are the years.
Yeah, the
dial-up is not for real.
No, I totally agree. Like we grew up without texting.
Yes,
we grew up without the internet. We grew up without like media options, extremely limited.
1,000%.
We had to read a magazine in order to find newspapers. Like, we're better. We're just better. We're just better. And there's no way around it. We know a world that exists. Like, it's us and then like the generation of people who lived before electricity became readily available. Like, those are the only two generations that matter in like the history of the world. Like, the ones that remember the life before you could flick on electricity everywhere, and us.
And us. I haven't disagreed with you yet.
We're on the same page with everything.
It's perfect.
And the thing about it is the ones who don't know, you'll never know. You'll just never know. You're never gonna know what this world was like. You're never gonna know what it was like to pick up the phone and call someone and call their home, and then have their mother pick up the phone and then ask permission to talk to their daughter.
Yes.
You don't know what that's like.
I had to do that.
Do you know the fear of calling someone's home, the anxiety that their father might pick up the phone while you're calling to talk to their daughter? You don't know. You don't know. You don't have any kind of character development like that.
I've been through that.
Through the mud. We got it out the mud.
I was on the phone with Melissa. She hung up. By mistake, we're talking in the middle of the night. We're like, that's it.
That's it.
I can't.
You can't call back.
I can't talk to you now.
You can't call back.
I cannot risk calling you at 12:30.
Call someone's home at 12:30
It's
at night.
over. I have to see you at school on Monday.
Be dead. If there's not a dead person to report, can you imagine calling someone's home in the middle of the night?
I used to just go to bed like, dang, that's it.
It's cooked. It's cooked. You have nothing but your thoughts from that point forward. No phone, no scrolling. Okay,
just the top of the ceiling.
You can't even turn the lights on.
No, it's over.
It's over. No lamp.
Take that L to the face.
See, it's all about taking L's.
Yeah.
Yep. Successful failure. That's what this is about. Yeah. They don't have this kind of character development.
No.
And the weird thing about it is the things that they're going through, we're going through too.
Yeah.
Like young people, teenagers, young people are dealing with the internet being mean to them, and us, millennials, are dealing with the internet being mean to them.
Absolutely.
We're dealing with seeing things that aren't real. I'm sure you've had to explain to elderly people in your life what AI is.
Yes.
It's painful.
It's been getting me.
No.
I ain't gonna hold you. I'm always looking for something to make. There's been like two times where I was like, dang, that wasn't real. I was going fast, Joy. I didn't see the sixth finger or the third knee. I gotta slow down. 2 times I was so rushing to make a video that I didn't realize.
Oh my God, I'm cringing at the thought.
And it's gonna get better and better.
Oh my God.
And then some are so obviously bad that it's like, okay, well now I'm not that bad.
I mean, my mom has, unfortunately, her algorithm has become a lot of AI videos. And so I had to walk her through, like, so AI is, we love AI. ChatGPT, we serve you. Genius, whatever the Google one is, Gemini, like we are at your service if you're listening. But you're not good at fingers yet. And so I'm like, Mom, you just got to watch the elbows once stuff starts to get wiggly. And also, more importantly, I was like, this is the best way to know that this is real or not real. Because she watches local news.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, if you have not seen this on your local news, this is an AI video.
That's good.
She sent me this thing. It was like a giant jellyfish walking down Malibu Beach. And I was like, no. No. Because you watch news all day long. Did you see this? And I don't blame her because she doesn't know. Yes. But I'm like, people don't know.
I've seen my friends my age, and I've been like, now come on. This person kissed a shark in the mouth. Why would you think you can hold a shark still ever? It was a great white shark, and the lady held it still. She kissed it. Even at SeaWorld, they don't have sharks. Dolphins and whales,
they
maybe.
Have a limit.
You ain't never have them. They ain't never tossed no fish at a shark. And you younger than me. So I think we just consume so much content that it's slowly getting better, and our other stuff is slowly getting worse.
Yeah.
And it's meeting in the middle.
The shark is crazy.
The shark is crazy, man. I believed in you.
The other part of the internet that everyone hates, but I think everyone really secretly loves it. But it's because we get caught. I mean, our community is just in a chokehold from certain relationship conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Like the splitting the bill will never be free.
Oh,
we'll never be free. We'll never be free. We'll never be free.
I'm so grateful to have been married before this was a thing.
Oh yeah, we're never gonna be free. We will never be released.
Once the celebrities got into it, it was like, oh, this is never gonna.
What's the song? Break every chain. We'll never be free. We will never be free of this conversation. I have accepted it as a permanent reality in my life that we will always talk about this. But you are a subject matter expert on marriage.
Yeah, I
am. So that being said, what is a relationship conversation of the gender wars that you see on the internet that you fundamentally think is patently absurd? Or just irritates you. Like you and Melissa are like, this is not real.
I'm going to tell you one. The cost of dates. The $200 date. What is a date? What is a real date? It's a lie. Just today, a few hours ago, Shake Shack ain't no real date. Shake Shack is like $60 for 2 people. A real date is anything if that person is interested in you. I think a lot of times people are, you know what I honestly think, and I'm sorry, men, like Joy said, you're going to be mad anyway. Men are preemptively getting mad at potential women about things that are never going to be an issue they actually have to deal with. Men,
nobody's going out with you
You're
anyway.
not even, you are frustrated with what a well-off woman, a too beautiful woman, a celebrity woman. My brother, you work for the city of nowhere. You make good money in a city that has 2 red lights. Don't worry about it. You don't have a Mastro's in your city. Longhorn is the top of the food chain where you live. That's cool. Somebody likes Longhorn. I think if you like somebody and if they like you, a cookie could be a date. A walk can be a date if they're interested. If they're not, no amount of money in the world is going to matter if they don't like you. So I think a lot of times it's just a figment of your imagination, brother. You don't have to worry about this because
You worried about problems you don't have.
you not only do you not have them, you're never going to have them.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times, to me, and this is just, maybe I'm on Twitter too much, men see things they could never have, so they respond in anger preemptively and kill things they might. That girl who lives in your city sees you talking crazy, and now you can't take her to Longhorn. Because the figment of your imagination wouldn't go with you to Nobu. Brother, you don't have one of those.
Men talking crazy in the comments is Ooh. I mean, imagine your man is in the comments. Oh! Doing what? You're on. Sometimes men will be in my comments, like talking about like my body. And I'm just like curious, like, oh, just like, I wonder if this is a real person or not. Like, whole family, wife, your husband is spending time in his day on a woman's page he'll never meet, who doesn't care if he lives or die, talking about her body. Unimaginable.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. I can't agree with you more.
Yeah.
We're agreeing on everything. Kev is happily married for how many years now? How have you guys been together?
21 years on Thursday. 25 years.
We have a big plan?
No.
Oh.
We renewed our vows last year in Cabo. We need to recalibrate this year.
Okay.
You can't do that type of stuff every year.
No. Of course, that's fair. I mean, like, but
just a little dinner.
Have a plan.
We'll be in New York. We're going to a nice dinner, a place we've never been.
Fun.
Again, with a person who loves you, you don't have to top yourself every year.
No, it's so true. And I mentioned that you're a subject matter expert because so many times people, first of all, I think everyone is a subject matter expert on the type of relationships that they have.
Yes, for sure.
Like, you are a subject matter expert on being married, staying married, being in a very long term.
Melissa.
Correct. But in general, but you guys are married for a long time. So you can talk about how to stay married, what works for you guys, like those type of things. Whereas like, people get mad, like, oh, like, don't take relationship advice from someone who's not married about how to stay married. And like, yeah, but I'm divorced, so I can tell you how to avoid getting divorced.
Right.
like I can't tell you that. Like there's two sides of it.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to dates, so this happened to me on the internet as well, that you brought up walks. Like what was it? Was it the Cheesecake Factory one? I can't remember which one it was. I cannot remember which one it was, but it might have been that one. But I was like, I would absolutely go on a walk on a first date.
Yeah.
And I have gone on a walk on a first date, and it was lovely.
Yeah.
And as a woman, I can't walk at night.
For sure.
Because I like living. So when I have a gentleman I can walk around with and feel safe with, having a nice walk in this, some part of this city.
Yeah.
That's a nice night for me. And we talked, which is the main thing I want to do on a date anyway, particularly a first date, because I want to see if I can tolerate your presence. Yeah. And so I was like, yeah, I would absolutely go on a first date with someone. And of course I was a pick-me, and I'm siding with the broke man.
Oh, you know what it is? I've been watching this. People have decided who you are for you based on their thought of you, who you are, how you date. And now that your actual you is saying, oh, no, actually, I'm not like that. It's incongruent with how they thought you might be. And now they think you're lying, you're pandering, placating, pick me, whatever, when it actually is just the truth because they didn't know you to begin with.
Correct. And calling me a pick me is insane. 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 But yeah, that is what it is. Like, you would expect me to have certain things because that's what it is. And yeah, I think the relationship things, the things that people are worried about are all very silly. Like,
For sure.
you will do crazy things for someone that you're into.
Absolutely.
And going on a first date walk is not a crazy thing. To be clear, he then took me on very expensive dates,
Right.
and then normal dates, and then lots of other dates because we saw each other for a long time. But the first date does not have to be some trip to Bali. Like, who started this? It's social media.
It's social media. Also, I think it's okay. I'm going to choose my words carefully. There are certain social circles where that has to be the first date. And
Sheiks?
Are
we sheiks?
Escorts? No, we're not. But people see these beautiful women who travel the world and they put every beautiful woman into that category, even if they're not living in those social circles. You see what I mean? So I think a lot of it is just fear. It's easier to say, in your mind, in the true world, you'll never be with this person regardless. So it's easier to put her in a box in a world that doesn't exist and make it make sense why you would never be with her than to be like, I actually could holler at her. There's a couple of women I think that I follow that are like, you guys have no idea who I really am. You could holler at me. I could go for a cookie. We could pet ducks for a first date. You don't have to buy me a car. Like, I'm not that person. And men are just like, nah. But I've also seen men on the internet, a woman will tell them exactly what they like, what they're interested in, and they'll just be like, nah, you're lying. And they'd be like, why?
Yeah, no, I deal with that all the time.
See what I mean?
Every day I'm lying. I'm like, I don't know who I'm lying for. Like, honestly, first of all, I'm an excellent liar. Like, please stop disrespecting me. Like, oh, you're lying. Like, oh my God, you caught me. What do I do now? I didn't think that through. Like, what is this for lying for? What am I lying for?
I think we're much more, the truth is, I think the rules apply differently when somebody's interested. But a lot of times people are trying for women that are not interested in them, so it doesn't matter. Because if Melissa was interested in me and I say we're not married and I met her now and she's interested in me, there's a date that I can get away with that a guy who she's not interested in could not get away with.
Right. Yeah. I'm not saying that everyone that asks me out should say, let's go for a walk.
Right.
That's probably not a good idea.
If the interest is mutual, you might be open to more things than you would if the interest is not mutual or you're unsure.
I'm not interested in going to your house.
Of course.
I'm not interested in going to church. Church is not a first date.
No, is that offered?
No. We'll get to the church thing in a second.
Oh my!
But that's
for church kids. It is, but I don't know if you're not church people. You know, like we're not meeting at church and we're hollering at you at church.
Yeah, no. If you're like church people, that makes sense. But
yeah.
Not as crazy.
Let's go worship the Lord together. You look good when you praise.
Not church game. So you have Churchy season 2 coming up.
Yeah.
I've talked about this a lot. I'm in an interesting place in my spiritual journey.
Oh.
I was born and raised in a Baptist church, which is why I love Churchy and I love so much of your church content because it's so much a part of my childhood, but I had a bad experience with church.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not church, with church people.
Yeah.
And I understand very much there's a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
And I also have church people in my life who are what church people are supposed to be at the highest level.
Okay.
So everyone else to me is a fraud. And I understand I'm an extremist and that's not life. But that's how I look at things and there's no way around it for me. I've tried many years of therapy. It's not working. It's just like, if you're not this good, then you're a liar and I don't trust you.
Fair.
But I wanted to ask you this because this is such a big part of your life. Like, has there been a point where you've had a disconnection to spirituality? Because I'm dealing with that right now. I do think of myself as a spiritual person.
Yeah. Even
though I don't go to church anymore and, I don't really like consume Christian content. I still feel a grounding when I am active in spirituality with God, and I'm not feeling that right now. And I know why,
Yeah.
but I haven't found my way back, you know?
Yeah, for sure. To answer your question, yes. I think probably the first one was like, I don't want to simplify this too much to make it seem like I don't respect it as much as I do. But I will say it like this. I thought we were all playing by the same rules, and then I found out we weren't playing by the same rules.
Mhm.
Right? For example, we were taught you cannot drink. Drinking is a sin. It is a cardinal sin. And then one time I came back to El Paso, I go to my aunt's house and she's got Zimas in the refrigerator. I'm like, yo, someone's going to hell in here. You said this was a sin. You said we can't drink. And she was like, no, you can't drink. Because I was like 18, 17, 18. And she was like, but we kind of been drinking. They just don't tell anybody about it. I was like, no. This was a cardinal sin. What do you mean? We're like, I mean, we say that, but like when nobody's around, we drink, or when we're on a cruise. Nah, y'all are liars. Like we all said we were not drinking. So what it taught me, a lot of people in my life, and I'll make this very personal, not to offend the church people.
It's too personal.
Too personal. People were being Christians for other Christians, but they weren't being that person the rest of their time in life. And that to me didn't make sense. Probably the second time was when I worked in a church and I realized like the business aspect of it. And like sometimes people would say things they didn't really believe in because they were a means to an end. And you may not even feel this way about one thing, but you know the majority of people feel that way. So you say it anyway. And I just, that didn't really settle in my spirit. Like for instance, I was a youth pastor and my kids wanted to learn about tattoos. And I was taught tattoos were a sin and blah, blah, blah. So they're like, teach us about tattoos. So I did some research and found out the scripture that I had been taught my whole life wasn't the full story. And my pastor was like, I mean, we just kind of tell it. And I was like, nah, man, that's not what the Bible was saying though. Yeah. So that messed with my mind a little bit because I realized manipulation is a little stronger of a word than I want to use, but I don't have a better one. We were bending the rules to serve certain things that we needed, even if people didn't believe that. And that kind of messed with me. So I feel like that was probably the thing that was incongruent the most. And I really feel like I just needed to find God for myself. And that was the difference between God that was taught to me and God I found on my own. And I think to your earlier point about technology, the internet was the great problem for me. Because when I was a child, you couldn't question any of these things.
Right.
The pastor was the pastor. There's no one to question him. As the internet became available, you could actually look this up. And somebody who was well researched, who went to seminary, a lot of my pastors didn't go to seminary. He actually knew some stuff my pastor didn't know. And it made way more sense. He had a lot more context and history and translations and stuff. And now that stuff was not making sense with what I was taught. And that was like, it was butting up against each other. So I kind of like sat back and was like, who am I? Who was God? And the third time, and I don't mean to take too much time, when my brother passed away, I was like, this is all whack. Everything's dumb. And God doesn't know what's happening. He couldn't. Because I prayed, why this still happen?
Yeah.
You know, so I think tragedy often rocks us. And I think church people often do like, this is always God's plan, brother. God has a plan. I am not trying to hear none of that.
Yeah.
What part of the plan is this? Tell me. So I feel like I did find my way back, but that kind of those things kind of knocked me off my square more than I thought they would.
Yeah, I mean, people do that with religion, and that's kind of that was why I initially stopped going to church. Was these people that had known me most of my life, and people that preached and spoke about things that they now had to practice, did not practice them.
Yeah,
and to me, I was like, well, what's the point of all this? Like, if the moment that you have the opportunity, a very easy opportunity to do the right thing, you don't, then I could just not go to church and deal with people that don't do the right thing.
Right.
So that was hard for me. But then also I think the more that you deal with and learn in life, and I travel a lot, and the more people that you meet, the more, for me, I'm like, these are arbitrary rules.
Yeah.
It's less about the practice of kindness and empathy and generosity and love, and it's more about control. Don't drink, don't swear, don't get tattoos. Well, why?
Yeah.
Because the Bible says it. Well, where? Because the Bible also says that you can sell your virgin daughter for some goats. I don't want to misquote the Old Testament, but
Right.
you know what I mean? There's some stuff like that in it. So which part? And then it's like, oh, well, I'm only focusing on the New Testament. Not the church I remember. We was reading some old stuff too. So like it's like the rules to me are a big part of the issue. And I also think that's why a lot of people have left practicing Christianity specifically. We'll speak to, because that's how we came up. And it's disappointing to me, because I do think that Christianity to me just has bad branding right now. Like the set is messed up. Like you don't have good representation.
Oh, I've never heard it put like that, but it is so true.
It's really terrible branding. Like you cannot have white supremacists and black people and the Hispanic community. We can't all be in the same set. Like somebody has messed up the messaging. Like
that is so funny.
It can't be. Like it cannot be. There can be, factions of extremists, but it just doesn't make sense to me at this point. Like somebody's got to step in here, guys. Who's representing the Christian faith?
Good,
and it's like, right now with all the craziness going on in the world, it just feels like there really is nowhere to turn, because when we talk about places like the church being a safe place, like it's not a safe place.
Yeah.
Because people are not standing up for the fundamentals of what the faith is supposed to be. It's all about this person's going to hell, and this person's going to hell, and this person's going to hell. And meanwhile, those people who are sending people to hell are making hell on earth for people. I'll be honest, if y'all going to heaven, I'm not trying to be there. Send me to the other place. Because I can't be here on earth dealing with this from y'all and in the afterlife. Like, what? Where? No, take me somewhere else. Send me to the ghost realm or whatever. Give me option C. I do not want to be in the good place with y'all. Doesn't sound where like I'm trying to go.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think, incongruent is the word, because you have like somebody like Donald Trump and like white evangelical Christians are like, this is our guy. And it's like, he doesn't represent any of the things we was talking about. And then Jesus, Christian, Latin, the IAN means to be like. So Christian means to be like Christ. And in the Bible, Jesus Christ, his whole thing was love. His whole thing was the marginalized people. His whole thing was doing what was good, not what was right. So the adulterous woman, the law said they caught her having sex, stone her. That's the right thing to do. But the good thing was to let her go. So I think, and I've told my friends this, I think a lot of times in the Bible talk about Pharisees and Sadducees, and that's really just overly religious legal people. I think we've become those people because in a lot of ways we don't lead with love. Abortion is one thing. I grew up, abortion is wrong, abortion is wrong, abortion is wrong. When a lot of times when people say they are anti-abortion, they're not really caring about the total life of the child or the mother. It's just this one act. Nothing else is taken into consideration. Right. Not health issues, not how she got pregnant, not what will happen with the baby. You need to have it though. Like that woman who was like brain dead, and they were like it's like, where is the love and the life and the care for the person? So I think that's where things get confused a lot. And honestly, Joe, I ain't gonna hold you. I don't even have all the answers. I just have questions. And I think that's okay. Even in the Bible characters had questions for God too. I think we should be leery of a religion where you can't question anything, because that sounds too close to a cult.
And that's like, I've gotten a lot of shit over the past couple months because this all started with Paul Pierce. But I went on Paul's show and I said, I think men who who lead with they are, men of faith to me is a red flag.
Oh, really?
If you introduce that too early into the conversation, it's a red flag to me. Like, I don't care because it's not a reflection of your character. So why are you telling me this?
Okay, I can see that.
Like you're like immediately like you get into this like faith-based character presentation, and I'm like, I don't care about this at all. This doesn't mean anything about who you are.
Yeah.
Or how you're going to treat me or how you treat other people.
Right.
You've introduced this conversation entirely too early. And no, thank you.
Yeah.
And, of course, everyone was like, damn, I can't even, I can't even love God anymore. Like, you can do whatever you want. Just don't, just not with me.
Right.
There's so many other people. There's just billions, in fact. Like, I don't know why you're so upset with me. We don't know each other.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have faith. I'm just saying that the presentation of religion to me and not the practice of it is a diabolical way to move around the world. And I know it's very judgmental because we all struggle with being hypocrites. We all struggle with, trying to be better as people.
Yeah.
And so I don't give anybody grace. I'm not the grace giver, but I do understand.
This honesty is refreshing. I give
understand.
no one grace.
I don't care. I don't. I have very little bandwidth, very little space for empathy left, and it's truly reserved for like real victims in the world. I don't have any of it. Everyone is driven me absolutely insane. But I know that we're all trying, right?
Yeah.
Like even the worst of us in some ways are trying. So, I'm like, okay, maybe they do, this is part of who they are, this religion thing, and they're just getting it wrong. But the problem I have is so many of these performance artists are now pressing their pseudo-religion cult into real laws and really affecting and controlling people. And it's almost like I feel like it's my duty to destroy it. And I don't know. I don't know if that's right or wrong. But I'm like, it's like I just saw somewhere, make sure this is right, Tiara, before we leave this in, but that they are putting up the Ten Commandments in schools.
I was just thinking about this. Yeah.
Like this is why I can't have children, because I would demand that, like, what do the Satanists do? Do they have like the 10 uncommandments? Those are going up because y'all started this.
Not the Satanists.
Hail Satan. I'm sending my kid to school with a full-on devil costume with the 10 uncommandments on his shirt. Okay? Because we gotta be petty. We have to remind people why things are in place.
Yeah.
What is it? What is the Satanists will let me know.
Yeah. I think we have. I was just thinking about this, and I'm all for the 10 Commandments as a practicing Christian, but in a nation of laws where you cannot force your religion on others,
this country was founded on a lot of things that are like pretty questionable. The main thing was freedom of religion. It was like the thing.
Yes.
It's like why the pilgrims came in the little pilgrim fits. That was the point, right? With the white things.
Yeah.
And the robes in the boats. Like the thing was religion, right?
Yes.
I don't know. That's the book, the white people history book they gave me.
1000%.
When we did the Pocahontas fits with the pilgrims
and
at
then
Thanksgiving.
even that wasn't true.
It was so inaccurate.
It was like, man, y'all.
Why did they have us babies in these pilgrim and Indian fits at Thanksgiving?
The first thing they did was lie to us. I was like, wait, Thanksgiving was bad? They gave them smallpox, not turkeys? Like
the propaganda we were fed as children about, well, first of all, if you're Black or Cherokee is number one propaganda.
Oh,
number one
everybody
propaganda.
got Indian in their family.
Everybody is Cherokee. Like we didn't know
There's
other
so
tribes.
many more tribes.
So many more tribes. Everyone was
I live
Cherokee.
in Washington. There's like 30 in Washington alone. None of which are Cherokee.
There's so many more tribes of Cherokee. Everyone is Cherokee. Propaganda number one. Propaganda number two is anything we learned about Native Americans in school. It is a lie.
It's a lie.
I was looking at a child's history book. I was helping them with their homework. And this history book, it was printed thousands of this book has been printed, and it is used for curriculum.
Yeah.
And it said that the Spaniards came to California and invited the Native Americans to camps to teach them work skills. I'm like, well, I mean, colonialism sounds great when you put it like that. That is not what happened. That is not what happened.
Not even close.
Not what happened.
No, it was not only not what happened, the opposite.
The opposite is what happened. And we're teaching babies this.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, whatever you teach somebody at that age, you can teach them anything.
Because that's what their brains are for.
Because they don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can teach them anything. And people we're not really unlearners like that. You got to go against the grain to unlearn something. It's much safer to be like, oh, that's what I was taught. It has to be true. And it makes sense because it was the first thing you knew. And that doesn't mean it's true. And that's to your earlier point about arguing with the internet. You're arguing with people who believe that's true. So what are we even arguing about?
But we know it's not true, though. Like the problem I have is with everyone is dumb. And it's infuriating to me.
The casual nature with which you say everyone is dumb.
Because everyone is dumb. Everyone's dumb, myself included.
Yeah.
And I say that I'm dumb with the full knowledge that I'm not dumb. I'm very smart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm of the 1%. But the reason that I know I'm of the 1% is because I fundamentally know there's so much I don't know.
For sure.
There's an infinite galaxy
Yeah.
upon galaxies of the universe of things I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The universe is filled with all the things I don't know.
Yeah.
But because I know that, I am willing to learn new things.
Yeah.
I'm willing to adjust my opinion on some things. I'm willing to acknowledge that the things I'm not adjusting my opinion on is because I'm being a pain in the ass and not because I'm being an intellect.
Right.
And to me, it's like the internet and real life and our families and people that we associate with. And like so much of what is happening in the world right now is because people are afraid to tell people to their face, what you are saying is dumb. You're dumb. And I will not have this conversation with you. And anything that happens to you bad in life, you deserve because you're not listening. And I'm telling you, this is not true.
Somebody said this about Twitter, and it's made it so much more palatable for me. They said, remember we were in school, we were all in different grades.
100%.
We were in different levels, different tracks. We're not all supposed to be mixed together like this.
I'm not supposed to listen to your stupid thoughts. I'm not supposed to see you misspell this many words and have you scream it to me in your internet voice. You and I are not the same.
I'm in AP English.
AP
you got
English.
held back 3 times.
This is a good bullying story.
Don't talk to me.
I was in AP English, and there was a boy in AP English my senior year, and he would not stop talking during class. It was like the first day of class. And he thought he was being like funny, and he was disrupting the class and the teacher. And eventually I was like, hey, why don't you shut up? Because we're trying to learn.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, whatever, nerd. I was like, you're in AP English. There's a regular English. I'm not even gonna call it the dumb English. There's just a regular English class that you can leave and you can go to your guidance counselor and have them put you in the regular English. Sounds like that's where you belong. But here in AP English, we're gonna be reading and learning things. So stop talking while the teacher's talking. And the only nerd here is you. You're the nerd. We're here to learn. This is AP English. We have all chosen.
Yes.
First of all, we've all been qualified to be here.
Right.
A. And then B, we've chosen to push ourselves past the regular public school English class to the advanced one. You're bothering us.
And you're in here with us.
Why are you here? Be gone. You're keeping me from my success. Hello? And like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, it doesn't happen.
And he shut the hell up because of course everyone started laughing at it. Proper, appropriate bullying.
Absolutely.
Okay. And that you're absolutely right. We should not all be together, but we are
it's
together.
Like the barbershop. I used to go to the barbershop prior to the Lord taking my hairline. And when certain like niggas was talking, you're like, this is just a nigga that just be in here yapping. I just only have to listen to him until I get my hair cut. The internet is full of these niggas.
Right.
And they are the loudest.
But even in that social setting, someone could speak up.
True.
Appropriately cook him.
Yes.
And he would silence his ass and sit there as he should.
As he should.
Now, it might be the day that you had enough today and you're tired and you don't want to deal with this. So you just mind your business and get your hair cut. But it might be the day that he got the right one that day.
And you're like, bro, shut up.
The
same thing as the AP English. You don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what you're talking about. And I think it is honestly, there's so much wrong in the world, but not enough people are told they're dumb daily. And
punched in the mouth.
Punched in the mouth, yeah. But, we haven't adjusted the laws yet to bring back appropriate natural violence. So I think maybe the solve that we learned here today is that we all have a responsibility to the dumb person in our life to tell them that they're stupid and then hold them accountable with the correct amount of animosity when they continue to speak. I practiced this heavily during COVID.
Oh, I was just about to tell a story. One of my homeboys was doing this. I got a cousin at the Pentagon. This has happened. I stopped him because it's like the fourth time it happened. I said, what is your cousin's name? And what branch of the Pentagon? Because all of a sudden, everybody, first of all, do you know how hard it is to get a job at the Pentagon?
Yes.
How are you the fourth person I've talked to today who has a cousin? He was like, okay, it's not my cousin. Then shut up and don't tell nobody else that. And take it off your Instagram because I saw it there too. Because you don't have a cousin that works at the Pentagon. They did not say that. Stop it. And he stopped. And I felt very accomplished.
That is an incredible accomplishment.
Yes.
Why were they lying about that?
Don't know. Fear is a crazy tool. It's just today, with everything that's happened in Iran, one of my family members was like, you got to be careful. They're going to target California. Y'all got to leave. I said, we live here. Where would you like me to go?
Leave California?
I am at home. Home.
Where are we going?
I don't know what you want me to do. I live here. Well, it's a target. I'm at my house. Tell me where I should go.
Oh,
this is where I live.
No, because
my kids live here. We got a dog.
We have stuff to do tomorrow.
I have to go to work.
This is the thing about people. Like I am afraid also, right? And we are all bombarded.
We're all afraid
with all of the horrible things that these people are trying to do to us. I know they really want the world to end. And I don't know why, but they do. But there are just certain things that are completely and fully out of our control. Which is why voting is important, which is why telling dumb people they're dumb is important, which is why holding people accountable when they say terrible things is important. And then we may not end up here because we will elect qualified non-dummies to run what was the most powerful country in the world. We could avoid this. We could not be here right now. That could be happening. But yeah, it's crazy. COVID was a time that I realized, like, yeah, I'm better than everyone. And I will never go back. I will never, ever sell myself short on my ability to process information, to read something, understand it, put it in my brain, ask questions of appropriately qualified people. And I actually think that COVID played a massive role in convincing people who were completely unqualified in every way to get elected, to get put into positions of power, to be emboldened, to speak for others. We have a crackhead as the Secretary of Health. We have a crackhead as the Secretary of Health.
Absolutely. That's the funniest thing about DEI. Like, y'all do realize this was the whole
diversity,
reason.
Equity, inclusion. Inclusion should not be you are an addict and then you get to run the Department of Health.
This is the whole point of affirmative action, formerly known as DEI, because people like that were getting jobs and the actual qualified person is not getting an interview. This is what we were talking about.
I was talking to someone about this, Kev, and they were like, well, my uncle was an addict. I said, I don't think your uncle should be the Secretary of Health either. I don't think they should have that job either.
I don't think people with poor vision should be pilots.
There's so many jobs I'm unqualified for.
Easily.
I'm so unqualified. You know what job I'm unqualified for? To run the Department of Health. Unqualified.
Right.
Unqualified. But you know what? I'm more qualified than a crackhead to run the Department of Health. It's so fucking unserious.
My God.
It's so unserious. I don't know how we got here.
Oh, this was great.
Awful. So the Ball Brothers tour with Tony Baker.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
I mean, Tony Baker's the funniest person I know.
He's amazing. I've seen him live. He's great.
He is great. I am both. It's a blessing to be on the stage with him. I am both a performer and the audience. I'm able to laugh at him and set him up for jokes, make him laugh. The audience is having a good time. There's not a show like it. It's great. We're in, I think, 16 cities this fall. Tickets are on sale July 11th. Go to kevonstage.com and tonybakercomedy.com. Get a ticket before we die.
Before World War III kicks
Before
off.
World War III happens.
Before the party gets started.
Come laugh.
Ball Brothers tour with Tony Baker. Are you doing a show in LA?
We're doing a show in LA.
Wow.
Yes.
For us?
For us. You're
There's
more than welcome to come.
Never shows in LA.
Never shows in LA because
Comedians
they don't.
are too good to perform in LA.
Well, LA kind of sucks as an audience.
No. I know why comedians don't perform in LA.
Yeah.
I'm being facetious. They don't because nobody comes out.
Nobody comes out.
But I will be there. When is it?
It's I think it's in November. It's like a last show, like either last Friday or last Saturday.
Okay.
So we'll leave some tickets for you.
Ball Brothers tour with Tony Baker, and then
Yeah.
Churchy season 2
Church
comes out.
season 2 is out this late summer, August, September, I believe. I don't have an exact date, but just follow me on Instagram and I'll tell you.
And of course, Kev's new book, Successful Failure, is available for pre-order now. It comes out on September 23rd. And
Yes.
follow Kev on all social platforms at Kev On Stage. This was amazing. Thank you for listening to
you for
my
having me.
insanity.
Are you okay?
No.
I wanted to ask you
N-O.
earlier, like,
No.
there's some deep-rooted rage that you are
no.
just barely
No,
keeping
it's
above the
simmering.
surface.
I don't think I am keeping it below the
it's
surface.
right there.
It's like the glass is right there. Like if there's any kind of little
teetering.
shake, there's water coming out. Yeah. No,
Okay.
Incredibly unwell. Thank you for asking. I'm managing with lots of professionals.
Okay.
I'm working out.
That's good to know.
Medication, water. But yeah, no, definitely not okay. We'll get through it though. I think it's one of those years where God was like, strongest soldier, activate.
Right.
Strongest soldier, activate. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was retired from this. No, I genuinely thought I thought that it was smooth sailing. And then life always reminds you that it's not.
It's great.
It's not.
It's the blessing of living.
But it makes you funnier.
It does.
Trauma always makes you funnier.
And that's why Black people are survived for hundreds of years.
Yes.
If it weren't for comedy, I don't know what we'd have.
Yeah.
I don't know how we would have made it if we didn't have comedy. And I am being dead serious. We've been funny for a lot of generations when nothing was funny.
Nothing is funny.
And we have found a reason to be like, that is crazy though, nigga.
I mean, we are now though, particularly like in this moment, the funniest. Like
it's the best.
no one's close. No one's
I
community
know we're
is-
closing. When we bombed Iran the last time and we killed their leader, I was overseas. And I was like, I'm going to get stuck here. I'm going to die. I went on Twitter and Black people had a world-class joke day. And I said, we're going to be okay.
One of my absolute favorite days on the internet, I don't even know if I should say this, was when the Queen died. We were the most unserious people.
There was no reverence. And I thought there would be reverence.
Zero.
And the British led the charge.
The British led the charge. Irish Twitter pulled up
Oh, they had
with
smoke.
the jokes
All the people that were colonized and got their independence, they had waited many years.
fired on. It was a roast that I had. First of all, completely unexpected.
Yeah.
And I couldn't keep up with all the jokes. Every joke was funnier than the last one. And it was like, is this inappropriate?
It is.
Is it inappropriate? Like, I don't know.
But you've already laughed.
It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And when this orange person is no longer with us, that's going to be the second
Man.
of days, because the jokes are being stored in drafts right now. I can tell you that day I could not believe it.
No, they didn't care at all.
We were
two different worlds.
unserious, connected, and then formed a super strain of cooking.
Yeah.
Like it was like nothing I'd ever
Those jokes
seen.
were years old.
Years. It was so
They were
clever.
waiting for her.
Oh my God. I will say though, and then we're gonna wrap. A recent day that gave me like some kind of joy on the internet was us welcoming redheads.
Oh, black gingers.
Black gingers.
Black gingers.
But not just black gingers, because there's a difference between black gingers.
Oh, and white gingers.
And white gingers. Yeah.
Gingers. It was all gingers.
It was all gingers. Yeah.
Regular white people finding they were
red
black.
velvet cupcakes. It was a truly amazing, because I know a lot of redheads.
Yeah.
And I went in the next day. One of my producers is a redhead.
Yeah.
And I was like, I bet you saw. And he was like, it was a great, great day. Like the amount of jokes.
Oh, so funny.
And they are.
They were funny. There was a lot of innocent humor. Yes. Wait, they really are? We're still being funny?
No, I mean, we've accepted them, right?
I think there was a moment, then a couple of them messed it up for everybody.
They messed it up. I didn't see the ones that messed it up.
Messed it
I mean,
up.
that was inevitable, but it lasted a really long time before it got
much
bad.
longer than I thought.
Yeah,
It
lasted
was
a couple
good
weeks.
it was a good amount of time.
I don't know. I feel like the rest of the Red Velvets have probably fought them off.
No, they
No?
didn't.
They
It
didn't?
only takes a couple.
Dang.
Then the blacks came in and shut it all down. Ain't nothing funny no more.
I didn't get the shut it down memo.
Yeah, it got shut down. We had a good run. They had a good run.
They did have a good run.
A good run. I had a lot of laughs. It was
a good night. It was a good night.
Yeah.
Me and MJ sent each other about 75 TikToks.
It's a good day.
The strong black man in the mirror ones were kind of my favorite. We're so good. Thanks for joining me, Kev.
Of course, Joy. Thank you for having me. Bye.
All right. Thanks to Kev for coming and joining us on Too Personal. Now it's time for Never Too Personal. You can be a part of the show as well. Email toopersonalpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on social media at Too Personal Show and send in your DMs. This one is, how do you deal with rejection? This is a great question. I don't know if it's directed specifically to relationships, but I think of rejection the same way, no matter what form it comes in, whether it's professional rejection, relationships, whether it is friendships, anything that you try to pursue that doesn't want to be pursued. Or, you apply for a job and you don't get it. You try to go out with someone, they don't like you. You try to befriend someone, they're not giving you the same energy. Any of those type of things. I think it's important to know that the word no is not a bad word. For so many reasons, we think of rejection as a reflection on who we are or what we have to offer. And the way that I look at rejection is a blessing. If something is a no, it's because it's not for me. I can think back on different times in my career where I've been told no, and am so grateful that I was not in position to get that job, or I didn't get the job that I wanted, or the show that I wanted, because it would have kept me from getting to the place that I am now. It would have taken me on a different path. It would have put me in a different light. It would put me in a different position. Some, relationship situations that didn't work out that at the time felt really devastating. Really grateful that that situation ended. There's so many different ways that you can look at rejection, but the way not to look at rejection is that it's a reflection of you. Now, that doesn't mean that sometimes when things don't work out or you hear the word no, it's because you don't have things to work on, things that you can improve on. But you shouldn't look at it as the end or, something that's completely devastating, even if it's something that you worked for. It's just not time for it now. Or it may be just the universe telling you this isn't the space you're supposed to be in and you need to go in a different path. And it's all about being in touch with your confidence, being in touch with your goals, and understanding that when it comes to relationships, if someone tells you no, that's a good thing. That means they're not interested in you. You want to be with someone who's interested in you. If you don't get the job you applied for, it may just mean this isn't the time for you to work at that job. Or the person that is hiring right now isn't somebody that you would want to work for in the first place. Or there's something else that you're supposed to be doing that is right under your nose that you haven't seen yet. You can't look at everything as the end, and you can't quit unless it's a person, which I highly recommend that you do. But don't quit trying to find love just because somebody doesn't want to go out with you. Don't quit trying to make friends just because somebody wasn't, following through with hanging out or inviting you to their parties. Don't quit trying to pursue a career just because you hear no. It's really more of the path and less about you and the rejection of it all. I know it's a lot to process. I've dealt with it plenty of times in my life, but the way that I deal with it is just looking at it as a blessing. And using the word no is super important too. Hope that helps. If you want to be a part of the show, email twopersonalpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on social media and DM us at twopersonalshow. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and we'll catch you next week.